Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some birch trees with a few birds on them, cardinals and maybe a woodpecker. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to be man and chat for us during the live show, so let's get started. Okay, go ahead and put up our little side thing there so you can see the picture there, hon. I'm going to be using a little bit bigger canvas today. This is a 12 by 16 inch flat canvas panel, but you can use really any size you'd like and adjust it, even do it long ways. It'd probably be cool. It's hard to do them long ways on YouTube, so I don't usually do them that way. We'll be using acrylic paints today, and I'll be showing you step by step how to do it all the way through. Let's go over our palette really quick. I've got ultramarine blue, phthalo blue-green shade, titanium white, unbleached titanium, carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone magenta, cadmium red medium, cadmium red light, cadmium orange, yellow oxide, and cadmium yellow medium. You don't have to have these exact colors, but just something similar in the same color families will work. And Mars black is a good substitute for carbon black if you don't have it. And unbleached titanium can be mixed if you don't have that one. It's a Liquitex color. You can use white and a little bit of yellow oxide and a tiny touch of burnt umber to get a similar color. It's just kind of an off-white color, and it's handy to have around. So let's get our background painted really quick. And I'm going to use a variety of different sized flat brushes and maybe an angle for some of the birds and things. And then if you've got a sea sponge, we might use one of those as well for some of the background stippling, or you could use a large brush like this, a large stiff bristled brush of some sort. We'll just be doing a little bit of stippling in the background for some details. So actually I'll go ahead and start with this brush to do our background. And I'm going to wet it down just a little bit and pick up a little bit of black and some white. Try to get it off the side there. It's a huge brush, isn't it? I can just see myself dipping it into that one there. I am going to paint that on in kind of a medium gray color. And I'm not really worried about streaks or anything. I'm just going to kind of do it vertically so that if there are streaks, it'll look like maybe trees or something's happening back in the background. We're just going to get this on quickly. Add a little bit of water if your brush is, if it's not going on smoothly. You could even spritz the background canvas of your canvas if you want to. It's too much water. Get a little bit more paint there. There we go. Spraying your canvas with water will just kind of help. The canvas is so dry sometimes that it skips around on the canvas. The paint won't absorb very well, especially with heavy body acrylics. So just having a little bit of water down. I didn't do it, obviously, so just telling you that you should. Or can, if you want to. It's up to you. This is your painting, so I'm just going to show you my way of doing it.
So I can use like a garden hose or something? Wet it down?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Oh, all right.
All right, so there we've got a nice kind of gray, little bit of streak happening. It'll already kind of make it look like there's some foresty things going on. I'm really going to keep the palette fairly neutral today. I don't know if I'll be using all these colors that I have out here, but we'll just see as we go along. I'm going to switch over to a little bit smaller flat brush. This is my 12 Bright. And I'm going to grab a little bit more white, mix that in, and just put some indications of some trees back here. Just kind of do some long streaks in that paint. And if it's starting to dry, just let it dry completely and then do this. But we can work with it. Our paint's staying fairly wet for us. So we don't want this to be super obvious. So just keep it kind of similar to your background colors. Keep it very kind of dark gray, neutral. Just a little bit lighter than our first color. See how that's working? It's very shiny. I feel like I need to tilt it or something. Maybe I need to get my other thing out. Raise that up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, I think that's better.
Maybe we just have to do side cam the whole show.
You wish.
I could dream. A boy's got to have dreams, you know.
Okay, so there we go. We've got kind of like that misty forest thing happening already, just by doing a few little streaks. Now I'm going to have Mark dry this for me.
I was not prepared.
Well, I could try. Let me try this first, honey, and see. I'm going to try working with the sponge and adding in some of our greenery here, or not greenery, but you know what I'm saying, the kind of stippling in the background. Wet your sponge down and then squeeze it all out, all the moisture out so that it's just barely damp. And I'm going to grab some black here, and I'm going to dab that into the gray so it softens it just a little bit. And we'll put in some, oh yeah, that's working. I was afraid it was gonna kind of be too wet still, but it's okay. It's sticking. So mostly on the bottom half, because I want it to look like, you know, the forest is kind of coming up here. This top trees, we can put a little bit in there, but for the most part, I just want it down here low, just to kind of give our trees something to sit in. And then what we can do is put some more of our trees on top. So this will all kind of create layer upon layer of forest back here. This is a project. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible so you could even do this with kids. So I think, yeah, that's pretty good. They love using these sponges too. They're super fun. I'll put out a little bit more black. I want it a little bit darker in a couple places. And the idea when you're using the sponge is to make sure that you're moving it around a lot and turning it side to side so that you're not getting the repeat shapes too much, and also not over stippling. So don't stay in one place and stipple, 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 because then you'll just have a solid color. You want to do a couple dabs and then move on. So don't spend too much time in one place with it, or else you'll just end up with a big blob of color. So kind of moving side to side as I'm dabbing it on, and every now and then I'll kind of turn it so that I'm getting a different part of the sponge hitting the canvas so that I don't have too much of the exact same repeat pattern happening.
Okay, what else would work besides a sea sponge?
Here, I'll use this large brush, and you can see
No.
Any kind of stiff bristled brush, and you really want it fairly dry. Ooh, I'm shaking the whole camera in.
What I said in chat, just maybe like your hair. You know, probably bang your head against the painting a few times.
I don't think hair would be quite firm enough, but
Well, give it a try.
see how it's stippling? It's really got a very similar effect.
Oh, that's very
Bob
Bob
Ross
Rossi.
used this kind of brush a lot in his
Exactly.
paintings, so they work great.
Channeling the master.
Exactly. These are just kind of gesso chip brushes. They're fairly inexpensive. I have a list of all the brushes and materials I'll be using down in the description as well, so if you are interested in that. I've also got a new Amazon influencer page where I've got kind of all the products in one spot. So that's also down in the description, right at the very top. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let me clean that out. I might be able to just go ahead and keep on going. I'm just going to go until the paint starts to get sticky, and then I'll hand it off to you. One thing with acrylics is, and if you've watched my videos before, you know this, but they get very sticky when they start to dry. So you just have to kind of watch them, and once they start to dry, you have to back off and let it dry completely. Otherwise, it'll stick to your brush, and the paint will just come right off the canvas. So I might just go back in here and add a few more trees. And this is time I'm going to use a little bit darker or brighter white. And I'll just do a few. Maybe even press down a little harder so they're a little bit thicker. Whoops. So that it looks like they're a little bit closer to us. Right? Because they get bigger as they come closer to us. Obviously. And be sure you're kind of doing them into diagonal shapes. And also one thing you want to do is make sure that the bottom of your tree is thicker than the top. So you don't want your, see how this one's kind of narrowing right here and then it gets thicker up here. So I'm going to have to go back in here and thicken up this middle part so that it matches this top part up here. So I'm going to start up there and just thicken that whole thing and press down nice and firm so that it gets thicker so that it looks like it's part of the same tree. There we go. And these ones we want to go all the way down off the canvas on the bottom here so that they don't look like they're ghost trees floating up around with no no end.
You like zombie trees.
Zombie trees, yeah. Alright, just changing up the direction. I'm just gonna let's put 5 of them in here. I'll do one more right in here.
Man, we're about done.
It's, you know, I mean, honestly, you could do something like this and be done. It really is very pretty, just like it is.
It sure is.
Mark just wants to go play video games today. He's like,
what?
Score. We're done. See ya.
I got a few more levels to finish.
He got a new TV for Black Friday, so he's enjoying the big screen. No lie.
Get no sleep. I got to get up early before everybody else.
Can use a big screen. All right, that looks good, I think. Okay, I will for sure let you dry it now, hon.
All right.
Pass that off to you.
I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find my stick man.
Are we doing the other one?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, I forgot. Thank you. All right, so we've got our new stickman ornament, and we'll be working on him. If you're new to my channel, welcome. We're really glad to have you with us today. I heard that Art Sherpa Cinnamon Cooney, my friend and fellow YouTuber, shouted out. So shout out back to her. She's awesome. I actually got a bunch of her brushes this week, so I'm really excited to try them out. And you'll probably be seeing them in future videos. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I'll move that out of the way. I'm not using that anymore. So Stickman is Mark's creation, and I've been adding to him on paper, but this time we're doing it on an ornament, and we'll be giving this guy away. And I better hurry because he's working quick on his thing. So we'll give him a birch tree over here. I probably ought to have painted the background some colors, but it'll be. This is about as good as it's going to get. We go real fast on him, and this is actually kind of a fun exercise because it kind of helps you sort of get rid of your perfectionist tendencies maybe, and just have a little bit of fun with painting. Let go of it and just kind of do something real quick, and we'll give him a little bird here too. He's kind of facing the wrong way, I guess. I'm trying to paint a cardinal, but it's not really working out very good for me. I've got a huge brush for it, so there we go.
Oh, nice.
He's got a little cardinal now. So there's our. Here, I gotta, you know me. Okay, keep going. Okay, go ahead and lie down. There. There's more. Mark. I'm gonna do some little black Sharpies down for our birch tree to give him a little bit more detail. Since we're giving it away, we got to make it look good, right? if somebody can get that and be like, "What the heck?" Okay. Ooh,
I guess when you zoomed in, huh?
Yeah. Well, I zoomed in for Stickman.
Oh,
there
okay.
we go.
You're taking my job, are you?
I am. Well, you were busy, so. Alrighty, so let's get in some of our white tree branches, and I'll go ahead and sketch those in with some chalk just to give us kind of an idea of where I want to put them. There is one large one right here. It kind of curves in and back out, fairly close to the edge. Don't worry about any of this background stuff. We're probably going to cover up most of it, but it'll show up enough, hopefully. I probably should have put another, I'm going to put another one of those small trees back here. See it? Okay, let's do another big one right here. Fairly close. Maybe do it like that so it comes in a little bit. And here again, we're just making sure that our tree is smaller at the top if it narrows at all, which these branches really won't narrow. So then we're really going to try to make sure that they stay the equal distance apart all the way down these two lines. You know, no matter what the curve is, we're going to try to, you know, make sure that we're following that curve so that it doesn't have narrow and thick parts in weird places. This one's more straight there. Okay, then one right here. This one is going to be just to the side of center, so we're going to kind of start just on one side of center. And it's going to be fairly close to that one that we just did. I really think I want to curve this one out this way instead. My damp paper towel there and just kind of gently wipe off my lines that I don't want. There we go. Okay, so we're going to curve this one in that way. And then this one is very curvy. Starts up here, goes this way, and comes back this way, and it curves back this way, and down. And it's more narrow, so we'll make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get as many as is on that picture, but we'll try. We'll get one more in here. How many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do 5 large trees, and that way there'll be an even odd number. Even odd number. Be an odd number. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's that higher math. People don't understand it.
Yeah.
Kind of like on the Einstein level.
Hopefully they're not tuning in for math tips, because they're going to be sorely disappointed.
That's what's called art math.
Art math.
We'll have an even number of odds, which is actually even.
Don't give me giggling. Okay, we'll stop laughing now. Okay. Grab some white. Stop. Oh my gosh. I'm going to grab some unbleached titanium just to kind of soften that white up a little bit, warm it up slightly, and that way we'll have the bright, bright white for our brightest highlights on our trees. So I'm going to just start filling in. I'm going to use this large flat brush. You could always tape it off if you wanted to. That kind of, I've done that before. Actually, I have a Birch video where I taped the background and then painted the background, and then took off the tape, and it left the white stripes of our tree, and then I painted those. So that's another option, I guess, if you don't want to have to carefully paint in your tree trunks. I'm just going to go ahead and going to use the edge of my brush there to get these lines, and then I'm just going to go in and kind of fill in the middle there. What are you giggling about?
Susie Q said that she watches the videos back about 1 1/4 speeds,
Oh no.
and that your laugh is even funnier sounding.
It probably sounds pretty evil. Or like, ha 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 ha.
Or maybe more like a chipmunk or a squirrel or something.
Oh, she speeds it
Faster,
up?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Somebody was saying the other day that they listen to us at slower speeds because they like to paint along, and so they have to slow it down, and then we're talking like we're kind of drunk a little bit.
Okay. We'll
Now you're going to really mess with her.
talk real fast.
Okay. I'm going to put in a couple. Now that I see where these other trees are going to go, I'm going to kind of maybe add a tree or two in between. So there's going to be one right here. So I might add just another one right here. There we go. Okay. And every now and then you're going to want to just pick up a little bit more water. Just keep your brush hydrated, because it will start to, the canvas will soak up the moisture off your brush the more you paint with a brush. And your paint might be moist, but then a lot of times people will use more and more paint instead of just adding a little bit of water to their brush. So you'll use more paint if your brush is not hydrated, because it won't go onto your canvas smoothly. So every now and then just dip your brush into your water jar. You don't have to dip it all the way up into the silver part, but just dip the very tip of it into water and keep it moist. And that way you can kind of keep on going painting without having to worry about your paints getting dry and sticky on you while you work. And then I'm going back in and just kind of adding some horizontal little stripies so that it's kind of replicating that bark texture just a little bit. We'll go back in and put more detail in, but that'll just give us a head start on it. We're definitely stylizing these. They're not going to be super realistic, so I'm trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more beginner-friendly in this tutorial. So we'll still make it somewhat realistic, but it's not going to be ultra difficult, I don't think. I'm trying to keep it simple. It is making a lot of noise. I was trying to use my wrist pad there, but it was not high enough. It just wasn't holding it up high enough for me. I need to cover my cross piece for one of my easels. Just took it off there. Tabletop easel. Somebody asked me the other day what it was. I was like, yep, it's just part of an easel.
I could fold up some paper towels for you and put them under there.
Yeah, I probably, or, if I was really ambitious, I would cover it with some pretty fabric or something like that,
Oh, that would be so cute.
It would be cute.
Maybe we can paint it.
Ooh.
But then it's to be loud.
Right, yeah, it needs to be softened. Okay, this one's almost just the width of the brush. I think I'll just try to get it in. See here where it's skipping like that? It just means I need a little bit more water on my brush. So pick up a little bit more water, and then it'll go on much more smoothly. And every now and then I want to spray my palette down too, because especially in the winter time it's very dry here. We're in the south, so southern U.S. So it stays fairly humid in the summertime. I don't usually have problems with my paints drying out, but boy, this winter I have definitely noticed a difference. It's really wanting to dry out fast on me while I'm working, so.
Yeah, we're in a burn bans and stuff, so it's been very dry here.
Very dry. Yeah, there were forest fires when we came through at Thanksgiving time when we were coming down out of the mountains. There was several forest fires that we stopped and looked at. Okay.
It was our way of helping.
Right, taking pictures.
Yeah, just taking pictures.
Nobody was hurt. It was just forest land, unfortunately.
Just the little forest critters, that's all.
Oh, don't say that. Now I'm going to be thinking about the poor forest animals.
They're so sad.
All those squirrels working all summer long with storing all their nuts. Now they're all just gone. So now I'm depressed. Okay, so we're going to get all of our trees in here. So 30 minutes, not too bad. I figured this would be, I don't know. I told Mark maybe 2 hours. I don't know. We'll see how quickly we can get our birds in. We might be able to get it done in an hour and a half if we work fast.
It's just in the squirrels were storing chestnuts, so it's okay.
What'd you say?
The squirrels were storing up chestnuts, so it's okay.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they have chestnuts roasting by an open fire.
Oh, God. That's bad. That's just bad.
You're welcome. I'm bringing it hard to the show today.
I don't know about that. I don't think that counts.
You don't think that one counts?
No.
All right, I'll cross that one off.
All right, cleaning up my brush here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit smaller brush here. And these are not drying very fast, so we'll do our best. I'm going to go ahead and make kind of a gray out of my ultramarine blue and burnt umber. This will be one of my shadow colors on our tree on one side. Like a little bit more blue maybe. Add a little bit of white to it to soften it. I was just making a blue-gray, and blue is a good color to add for shadows. It's a cool color. It'll, especially ultramarine blue, it's very much on the cool side. And we'll just pick a side. So which side do we want our, warm side and light side of our tree to be? I think we'll maybe act like the sun's coming from this direction if it's coming at all. So we'll shadow these sides of our trees a little bit. And I'm just going to use this color and pull lightly. I have very, very little paint on my brush. You see it's barely even showing up on there. So keeping it fairly dry, and I'm going to just pull from this side all the way up. I'll do it on each of these trees. This one's kind of getting sticky because it's starting to dry, but I want to get right up to that edge so that I have just a little bit of shadow on there. Super chat! Well, that's a long one.
We got a super chat.
Yay!
From Joe P.
Thank you, Joe.
It says, Merry Christmas, Angela Mark. Keep on painting, Angela. I learned so much from you.
Wow, thank you very much.
And nothing from me, apparently, so that's okay.
And we tolerate Mark.
Yeah, that's a side note.
Thank you, Angela. And and we're just not going to say anything about Mark. Thank you. All right. So do this to each of the trees, and really, ideally, you'll wait for that white to dry. So I'm kind of tempting fate here by messing with this paint because it's probably still in the drying stage. And don't worry about it being uneven. We kind of really want it to have this kind of unevenness. So don't try to, make it all the same all the way up and down your tree. We're not going for super smooth here. We're kind of wanting to create that kind of bark texture. So let it be a little bit messy. Maybe we can even put a little bit of this color on some of these trees if we want to. But they're pretty light, so that's not showing up. All right, I like it. Clean that out. And I'm going to leave this original color as our warm side color. We can maybe use a little bit of this unbleached titanium if it's not covered all that well in our first coat, and we'll do the opposite that we did before. And I'm kind of curving it a little bit as I'm putting it on. I'm just setting it down and kind of flicking with my brush so that it's not going, I'm not pulling it all the way across. I'm just setting it down on the edge and just sort of flicking in that direction. And that way I'm not going to get too big of a line too long. It won't go down into the middle and cover these other colors. And it'll also create this kind of wispiness that I want. Keeping very little paint on my brush as well. That's really important. Too much paint and it won't do this for you. It'll just kind of create a big block of color. Got a little bit off the edge there. Let me see if I can get that off. If you go outside your lines, you can kind of gently wipe it with a cloth. There we go. While it's still wet, and it should come right off. Just make sure that your background's dry before you try to do that, or otherwise you'll wipe off your background as well. All right, I'm going to get off my chalk lines while I got this out too. So that's good. It's already looking like kind of foresty.
Like gump?
No.
Okay.
Right. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Christmas holidays so far. We've had several. We sent out an email this morning, actually. Had several Christmas paintings in it that we've done so far this season, and we'll be post on my blog with all of the Christmas videos from several years past as well. So if you want to see those, I think there's a link down in the description to my blog. I don't think the post is up yet. Spencer, my son, is my blogger helper, email slave, right? And he's working hard helping me with that, and he's created a really cool little Pinterest pin with all the Christmas paintings on it. So that'll be on my blog this week if you want to check those out. Or you could just go to my Christmas playlist, which is also up in the iCards. If you're already here on YouTube, you might as well just do that. You don't have to go to the blog at all. Now that I think about it. It's kind of dumb. Go to my blog that sends you back to YouTube. Or just click on the link in YouTube here to the Christmas playlist. There we go. All right.
I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying, so.
You weren't paying attention?
No, hopefully you said hi to everybody.
I did say
Welcome
hi,
to the
yes,
channel.
and welcome to, if you are new to our channel, I hope you are enjoying it and will subscribe and come back. We do these videos twice a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays, live, and Tuesdays usually a little bit easier videos. Saturdays are a little bit more complicated projects usually. So for Christmas time, I'm trying to kind of keep them fairly simple. So just in general, I've switched to a little bit smaller brush. I'm going to kind of use the edge, the corner of my brush, and tap in some stripes right down the middle of my tree. like that. That'll kind of pop that forward. Just that little bit of warm color on the side will help create that illusion of roundness to our tree trunk. And I'm kind of just really keeping it in the middle there. If you're getting too much of a line on this side, you can kind of use the edge of the brush or pull from this side out and then this side this way and do it this way. Just however works easier for you. Kind of go back and forth. Whoops, keep getting it outside my tree. Going all the way down here. Very little paint on my brush. Just picking up a little bit of paint each time. So if I have too much paint, it'll just kind of push it around. It won't create this sort of dry brush effect that I'm looking for. Dry brushing is great for tree trunks.
Oh, my mic was on that
Another
one.
super chat.
And this one's from Denise. It says, Merry Christmas, Angela and Mark
Aw.
and family.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank
Merry
you so
Christmas
much.
to you too.
Yes.
We are starting to feel the Christmas. Got my Christmas tree up in my studio this week, but I still haven't done the one for our house, our living room yet. So still working on getting our house looking like Christmas. It's funny. It always kind of sneaks up on me, and I always look forward to it every year. And then when it gets here, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got so much to do.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's like 70 degrees outside, so it doesn't feel like Christmas
It's true.
time.
It's hard to kind of realize that it's Christmas. Doing these kind of more wintry, Christmassy paintings, though, kind of helps get me in the mood more. Okay, and then every now and then I'm going to go back in with a little bit thicker paint and just really kind of create a little bit of like a real bright pop of highlight on my tree. And I actually might wait to put in my black parts so that I know exactly where I want that highlight to go, because we'll probably want to put it up and above some of those black spots on our tree. Okay, that looks really good, I think. So let's switch to another smaller brush. Now we're just kind of getting smaller and smaller as we get closer to our details and get more detailed. Let's grab our black. And I'm going to load up my, this is a number 4 bride. It's about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 inch. That's 3/8 inch. A little bit smaller than 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to start creating my bark texture, all of these kind of effects that happen on the tree. These birch trees have all these black lines in them. And so I'm going to kind of use that edge of my brush and just create some little knobby textures in my tree trunk. Like that. Let me zoom in, hun, so they can see kind of better what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. And so every now and then I want to draw in like maybe a circle, but I'm leaving a little bit of that white showing through. And we also kind of want to curve them a little bit. These ones actually could kind of curve upward now that I think about it. Probably curving them in the wrong direction there. These ones will curve upward. These ones will kind of go straight. And then these ones will curve this way somewhat. So, and I'm just going to use that edge of my brush to kind of dab in some light. Actually, I think I want to use my angle brush because it might give me better control. Try it with that. Now, I have done this where you've used a credit card and scraped with it. These trees I'm kind of going a little bit less black than I've done before. So, but I do like that look. If you want to, you could try scraping it with maybe we could use a smaller piece of credit card and a little bit of black. I'm going to try it. Just try it and see what it looks like. And I'll probably ruin the whole tree here, sorry. But this is just a piece of credit card that I've cut into spots. Well, that actually works pretty good. I might actually use that as well. Yeah, because I like how it's kind of creating that sort of dirty effect on the canvas. Just make sure you don't have too much paint on here. And it should work okay. Keep it small and keep very kind of just barely enough paint on there to just sort of create a little bit of sort of a dirty effect for our birch trees. So yeah, press down a little harder there, but actually don't mind that. And that's, you know, if you keep this small enough, then you won't have any huge knots in your tree that you don't want. So yeah, I like that. Looks good. Let's keep on working. Okay, so there I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to create kind of a knot and just sort of make that a little bit bigger. Like that. And leave some white space around it so that it kind of looks barky textured. Barky. A technical term there.
So did like Van Gogh and Monet use credit cards also when they were?
They totally would have. I could totally see Van Gogh using them. He would be all up in the credit card thing. No, palette knife works the same. You know, I mean, for the most part, you could use a palette knife, but why buy one if you don't have to? If you don't have one already, these are handy. Grab it and go. Okay. Oops, I was off camera there. We can zoom out a little bit now. I think they kind of get the idea. So now I'm going to go back in with my brush and just add some little bigger, like, dots and details to just a couple places. Okay, looking at that. Let's do the next one here. Just gonna keep using this credit card. It seems to be working pretty well for me. Okay, and this one's got a big knot right in here that's gonna have our branch coming off of it, so I want to make sure that I get a big black spot right in here. I'll come back in with my brush and do it a little bit more detailed. And the thing I like about the credit card too is it's very random. Like with the brush, it's a lot more intentional. You kind of can predict, you know, what you're doing. Everything's very intentional. You're setting down your brush and you kind of know exactly what it's going to do. With the credit card, it's sort of a mystery. And you end up with a randomness that you can't get by using a brush because, you know, you can't predict exactly how much paint's going to come off on the canvas. I mean, you can get an idea, but each time you press down, it'll be a little bit firmer, a little bit different. Just make sure that you're pulling in the direction that you want to go. You don't want to be pulling this way and, you know, get these random streaks in there that don't make any sense. So just make sure that you are following the curve of your tree as you're doing your streaks here. Sure this, hopefully this noise is not really loud on the microphone. Not too annoying. Okay, grabbing the brush and we'll just make some of these a little bit bigger and a little bit more defined. Kind of tapping using the tip of the brush to kind of create more knotted knots. And maybe elongate some lines that we started there. And then right in here we want a nice big knot, so we'll just start that as our kind of starting point right there and create some lines that, now this is the only time that you're going to have any lines that are not kind of going side to side like this, but on this tree the lines are going to kind of curve around this knot here and here, so you'll have some lines that are a little bit diagonal. Go. Grab a little bit more black. And up, and then there is a branch that's going to come off this way. And we'll continue it here in a minute once we get this other tree done, but get that started. And there's actually another one we can do over here. We'll make a knot right here, and this one's coming up from that, out of that tree, and going up this way. Make sure that the branch is thicker where it hits the tree. Make it a little bit bigger. Right there. Okay, I'm gonna stop whispering. You always tell when I'm getting into the painting because I start whispering to myself. So trying to break out of that habit, but it's hard. I think I talk to myself while I'm painting at home too, so it's probably a habit from that. I do it when I'm gardening too. I've apologized to flowers before. Like, oh, sorry. If I mushed them, you know. Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem.
to it.
I know you are. I'm just.
You've apologized to yourself, too,
I have apologized to myself. Yes, I have.
during the video.
And I've said thank you to myself, too.
Yes, that is true.
You learn a lot about yourself when you start filming yourself. Try it sometime. I realized I talk with my hands a lot when I started filming myself. Because when I would do my first few time lapses, if you go back and watch them, there's a lot of this going on.
Got to do the jazz hands.
Yes, when
Or
I
the
stop
paint?
to talk, I'm doing like this. You speed it up, it looks pretty funny. All right, keep on going here. So we're already almost through, and it's looking pretty good. And I definitely think that this would look really great just as is without any birds at all. So if birds are not your thing, I would say just do this part and enjoy it. Or if you feel like the birds are a little bit outside your comfort zone as far as, your painting ability or skills. If this is your very first painting, you might leave off the birds and just try this and do it a couple of times and then, work on the birds on paper or something like that before you put it onto canvas. I use a mixed media journal, which is on my Amazon page. It's the Strathmore Mixed Media Journal. And I do all of my example paintings on there to work out the kind of composition and colors and things like that. I didn't do it this week because we've been stuffing envelopes for our Christmas cards. So I didn't have time to paint our example for today's painting. I was busy doing that. But normally I'll have an example painting done for you, and it's done on that notebook. It's over there. I'd grab it, but it's too far away. I can't reach it.
Is that a hint?
No, it's fine.
Because I can get it for you.
I pretty much can imagine what a notebook looks like.
I'll do like a little ninja roll.
You can do
Behind you.
ninja roll across
Yeah.
the studio. I mean, well,
And grab it.
fortunately, I'm not on camera, so no one would ever know if you do that.
Okay, I'll make plenty of noise so that they'll know when it happens.
Okay. I feel like I'm getting a little too much tameness here. I want to leave a little bit more space between some of these, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better job and leave a little bit more random, like do some close together, and then leave a big space on some of them. So they're not all same all the way down, because these are all kind of almost equal distance all the way down here, I'm noticing. Kind of got into that rhythm. Here's my notebook.
Parkour.
So look at
Parkour.
So there we go. There's our little penguins from the other day. Oh, this one was kind of a dud of a notebook. It's only got 2 paintings. This is my brand new one.
Okay,
Oops.
there you go.
There's the nativity that we did. Whoop, there we go. Oh yeah, this one's got all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Whoops. All right. I can't do it. I've got a brush in my hand or a credit card in my hand, but you get the idea.
That was good TV.
Awkward. Retreat. We crack ourselves up.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
So I wonder how many of your work friends are going to be watching us today. We had a work party. Mark had a work party last night. We were sitting with some of his work friends, and I told him he has a second job with me.
Yep.
This is his.
That's what I do on the weekends.
That's right.
Nights and weekends.
So appreciated. Gives up every Saturday for us so that I can have help in the studio, because I could not do this without him.
Well, I can't play video games while you're doing this, so
That's true.
might as well
Might as well.
help you.
Yeah, I can't use the internet. Well, okay, so we'll do some of those going in this direction and some of these open areas that we left. That's better. I think this one looks a little bit more natural than that one. And really, I've got the reference photo there, so you can look at the reference photo and get an idea of, you know, where to put yours. I'm not really looking at it. I'm just kind of doing what I feel like here on this one, because it just slowed me down too much to stop and look and try to match it up exactly, but you get the idea. Okay, let me grab my angle brush again. Got a big puddle of water right here with that gray paint. Just dip into that every now and then. Okay, and so let's create some large knots on this tree here. There's a big one up here. Awfully quiet in here all of a sudden. A lot of thinking going on. Could always tell when I was in my studio or, you know, my classes with the kids, especially if I was doing my painting lessons and it got real quiet, that they were all into it. Like you could just tell that they were in it when they got quiet because they were really concentrating. There we go. Okay. I want to make this one a little bigger too. Exaggerate some of these. And really, if you're doing this with kids, you could just do the scraping and call it good because it looks good without, you know, this extra detail. But this just makes it a little bit more realistic, I think. Gives it one more layer of detail. But it can totally be left off. Okay, I think that's good. Let's put in our branch detail here, and when we're doing our branches, it'll help if we have a little extra water in our paint. That way it'll just kind of flow off the brush. And I'm going to use the angle edge. Just going to push it flat on my palette and then use that edge of the brush to kind of create my line. Let's do another one coming off of... Let's see, so we're going to have one cardinal down here. So let's do one branch coming off of it down here. Leave enough room. So we want our cardinal right in here. So we'll do our branch from coming right in here. And up and over. And here again, make sure that your branch does not get thick and thin and thick and thin. Make sure that it tapers to a fine point at the end and gets thicker as it goes down towards the tree trunk and attaches here, and actually even widen it a little bit more where it widens and attaches to the tree. Because it kind of usually flares out a little bit right there. Let me grab a little bit of white and just add a little detail around that tree trunk right there where the branch attaches, and then add a little gray to the top, a little gray highlight. to the top edge there, and I'm just going to kind of dab it on. You can kind of pull down from the top if you want to make it look more rounded. Just adding a little highlight there, another layer of detail. Okay. So cardinal's going to go here, and then we've got another cardinal that's going to come up this way. He'll be sitting on this branch here, and we need to put a branch in for him. And this branch is actually coming off from the outside. You don't see where it starts, so it's going to come up like this and go right about like that. And we can actually crisscross it over the top of this one a little bit. Like that. Add a little bit of that white highlight to it. Okay. So yeah, we should be able to fit him in there. Maybe should have made it a little bit lower. Let's do we're going to move it down. Didn't leave myself enough room, huh?
Nothing.
So he needs to be right in here, so I need to sharply bring it down like that. There we go.
So that branch is from a tree off the
Off the
painting.
canvas. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like me. Wants to get in the picture. Sticking his hand out there.
Exactly. Exactly. Gonna clean that up there. Okay. I'm going to clean up this edge where I kind of removed part of that edge of the tree there. Didn't see that. And I'm going to add a little bit of gray to some of these knots here, just to add a little extra detail. So it's not just black and white, but we'll have a few shades of gray in there. Break it up. Maybe a few little gray lines here and there as well. There we go. Okay, let's give this guy a little highlight. With that gray color. And add a little bit of that gray down here. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see. There's another branch right up here. This one kind of goes up behind this tree, so we'll just kind of do it going upward and let it sort of disappear. And then there's a branch going this way over here. Same deal. We'll go ahead and continue that one like as if it's went behind that tree. And then there's a pine tree in my picture here, so if you wanted to put that in, you could. I don't think I'm going to, just for time's sake. But you could totally if you felt like it. And I think I might turn my woodpecker around so he's facing this way. I'm not sure. We'll see. Grab my chalk here. I think I can use white. So we'll use our chalk and draw in our cardinal here. Hopefully this is dry enough. So our tail is going to come out this way, right up underneath this branch. We'll just start with that so that we know where that's going to be. Then his body is going to be right in here, and it's like a kind of an egg shape almost, like that. Then the head is going to set right up on top there. And this is going to continue all the way up, and the forehead is going to have this angular triangle shape coming off that way. Then the beak comes down, slopes down from there, forward, and back in. And then the chin kind of rounds out this belly of the bird. And then his wing is right in here, kind of cuts off part of that. So he'll be right in there, and then we'll put in our other one right in here. He's going to be all fluffy, and his tail is going to come down behind the branch right here this way. And his wing's kind of coming off this direction out that way. And then his head is sitting right here. And he's also got his crest kind of coming up. You can see it. I don't know if they can see this drawing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
And zoom in too,
Yeah, zoom in a little bit. Let me do it with the little brown. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Okay, so you can draw yourself a little head, like a circle for the head. Let me try it with blue or red. Let's do the red. Like that. Then the forehead crest is going to come down and cut off. It's going to come right up under his chin there, and this way. And then the back of it is coming down and going to slope down around the back side of his back. And then his belly is going to curve over that branch right there. So it's going to cover the branch. His feet are tucked in back here. Actually, you can see a little bit of his foot right there. So there's that. And then his wing is going to come down off of that slope there and cut in right here. And then the tail comes out. And really you can kind of draw a straight line from the back of the head to figure out where to put the tail on the cardinals. Same thing here. Kind of do a straight line from the back of the head. And that's the length of the tail is usually about the length of the body. So if you measure here to here, then you should it should be about the equal distance to the back of the body to the head. And then you'll know you kind of got the tail the right length. Then you're going to have a triangle that kind of cuts into that circle for the beaks. And here too. It's like actually like a diamond shape right there and there. It'll make more sense when we paint it in. And then our woodpecker. Excuse me, goodness. He is sitting right in here. Here, I'm going to go ahead and do his beak first. And his big old head is right here. It's going to angle back this way and then round out. So his head's kind of this big triangle shape right here with a curve at the top. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And then the neck sharp curves in, and the belly curves back around, and then goes almost straight down. And then this part is the same. It kind of curves down a little bit, and kind of, if you did a straight line from here to here, that's about where the back starts. So there's a little bit of a neck right here that you want to leave. And then curve in this way. And you'll see the wing right here. Okay, whoops. That was a little bit down, sorry. There we go.
So, what if I can't draw? What are my options?
I do have a traceable that I will have for you. You can buy for $1 a month. You get all of the traceables for all the videos on Patreon. So
Let me go get my wallet. I'll
you're
be
in
right
luck.
back.
That was seamless, honey.
Man, I'm getting good, aren't I?
Thanks for reminding me, though. All right, so let's grab my cadmium red and medium, and this is going to be kind of my main cardinal color. It's just the right warmness for the cardinal. They've a very warm red color. And it gets so vivid in this wintertime, which kind of doesn't make sense to me in a way, because you would think that they'd want to blend in, but they certainly don't. They are very, very bright. We have them out in our garden.
Yeah, they've kind of got spooked off.
Yeah, I think the cat's been scaring them off. We
Well,
used to have a lot more than we did before.
It was after that hawk incident.
That's right. Oh, I think you're right. It's probably the hawk, not the cat.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. He was using the bird feeders as kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. It's very convenient.
Yeah. He knows where they're going to be, so he just swoops and grabs one. And
Yep. It's like, thank you very much. I bet you're right. I bet that's why they're not hanging around anymore.
either that or I haven't put any food out for them in a couple weeks. So
Well, that could be it, too.
yeah,
I don't think I'd keep coming back to the
no
same
food.
place if they didn't feed me. Mm-mm.
Well, I'm glad I keep feeding you. Then.
Me too.
I just figured out what's been keeping you around.
Oh, gosh. I walked right into that one. Grab a little bit of black.
The truth after 29 years.
Yeah. There we go. Kind of made a dark red here. I'm going to just kind of shadow right up underneath the wing while that paint's wet. We'll just go ahead and put it on there, and then don't want to get it on the... Oh, yeah, it actually does go over the top of the branch. Sorry. I thought it went under, but it doesn't. This one's over. So we'll put in our tail feathers. And, whoa, a little thick. And he's got his kind of separated out a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of split the feathers a little bit and do like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of that cadmium orange and use that on these feathers out here on the wing. Maybe even a little tiny bit of white to brighten it up. Give a little highlight to these wings up back here. And I'm just kind of drawing little streaks in that wet paint to create some highlights. We'll do a little bit on the back of his head too. And a little bit on the belly. I may not use all these colors that I put out. I don't think I'm going to use that phthalo blue after all. Well, I didn't know. Since I didn't do my example, I didn't do my homework.
Mm-hmm. And dock your pay.
All right, I'm putting a little bit of, why don't you zoom in here because I feel like it's too far away. There. Good. All right, so right here, I'm going to kind of use the edge of the tip of the angle brush to create a little bit of fuzzy edge on the top of his head there. And then this should slope a little bit. Kind of curves down toward the beak. And I think that's all the detail I'm going to put on. I'm not going to put on a lot of super detail. I did a whole tutorial on just cardinals a couple of winters ago. So if you want to, get a little bit more detailed in your cardinal, you could go check that out and use that tutorial to put in these feathers and give it a little bit more detail. So, but I would just, so I'm trying to keep it simple. So we'll do that and call it good. And then add a little bit of black around the face. So the face is gonna kind of have this triangle shape going here. Cuts off and comes down under his chin and down like that, right up under the beak. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush here. I'm going to get my number 1 round with Princeton. Pick up a little bit more of that black, and I need to spray my palette again. It's starting to get dry. A little bit of black. And the eye on the cardinal on this side is going to be kind of right smack dab in the middle. So I'm going to just do a little eye right there.
Oh, we got a question.
Yes.
Which red were you using?
Cadmium red for the main body, and then I added a little bit of black for this part, and then a little bit of cadmium red light and some white for the highlights. But I had the cadmium red on my brush at all times, so it's mainly cadmium red medium. Okay, and then this beak is gonna curve down right into there, so just leaving room for it to go. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of white, make a gray. Sorry, I keep making fart noises on my, when I press my hand against the, it's the
You've
it's
used
the
that
table.
One. You've used that one before.
It's the table. I keep forgetting not to lean on it. Okay, so I'm going to outline the eye with this gray, just to give it a little bit of separation there. And then use the brighter white on the very tip to do a little highlight in the eye. There we go. It looks really funky because he still doesn't have his beak, but we'll get him one here in a second. I'm actually going to use the cadmium red light for the beak color. If you don't have it, just use whatever orange color you have. If you've got an orange that's a little bit brighter than this, just add a little red to it. Or you can mix up an orange with your red and yellow color. Doesn't have to be this exact same color. So our beak is going to kind of come like this. It's going to continue that slope, so just kind of continue that line down. Cardinals always look like they're kind of a little bit mad. They've got like a sort of a frowny face, but we're going to try to, I think it's because this beak slopes down so much. We're going to do like this and make sure that this orange part comes in a little bit over the black. Like that. There. In fact, I think I'm going to bring that black up just a little bit. Way. There we go. And then I'm going to use that dark red color put in a cinder line, and I've just pushed my brush flat, or you could switch to a liner brush if you want to, give him a separation there in his beak. And then, may not even need this cadmium orange, but I'm going to go ahead and use it for my highlight color. Get a little bit of cadmium orange on my brush. And put a highlight right on the top of that beak. It's not dry yet, so it's kind of lifting a little bit, but there you go. He looks happy. We gave him a little bit of a smiley face. Just we cheated a little bit. Can't have him be sad. Right. I'm going to add a little bit of white to my cadmium red. Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that because it's turning black. Here, I'll use the unbleached titanium instead. There we go. Just getting a little bit more highlight right there on those wings. Maybe a little bit at the top of his head. And then I want to go over that with a little bit of the red to tone it down. There we go. Okay, I'm going to stop fussing because I can fuss all day with those. Give them more and more details. Try to keep it simple. All right, let's put in this guy here. He needs a second coat on his beak there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to grab my angle brush again, and we'll put in our main part of the body with the red, and it kind of does this kind of curving thing over the top of the branch. Oh, I forgot to put in the feet. Don't let me forget to put in feet. Why are you laughing? Feet are important.
You do that like every video.
I know I do.
And people in chat start getting violent.
Why?
Feet.
I know.
Don't forget the feet.
Were they getting violent yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But they have in the past.
Well,
it gets ugly. You know how these unusual suspects do.
I know. They keep me in line. They keep me honest because I need them. I forget stuff like that, important things. Okay, so if you're worried about the tail and going behind this branch, what we can do is just go ahead and put it over the top all the way and make sure that it's, looks solid. And then we can go back in with our black and just cover back over that part there. Put the branch back in. That'd be easier than trying to paint around it. Right. And I use that darker, I didn't say that, but I used the same black mixture with the red that I used before. It had a little bit of burnt umber in it too. So use a little bit of it right in there. Nice and dark. Okay, I'm going to just put a little streaking in there. Probably ought to wait to put your branch in until you finish painting that part of the bird, but I didn't. So. Okay, and then put a little bit of that shadow color under the belly right here. And then we'll grab a little bit more of that brighter red. Woo!
Is it ruined?
No.
Okay.
You're worried there.
I thought we were going to have to start all over again.
Nope. We're good. We pulled it out. Okay, and then these wings kind of come off this way, like that. This black part kind of makes a box around its face in this one, so you can kind of create a little square right here where we're doing the black. And then this red crest comes up and over. Here again, kind of let the back edge of it be a little bit fuzzy. It should make a curve from here down towards the belly, so if it's too far forward, then you know that you've got it the wrong angle. Like that. And then the back of the head kind of comes down like that. I didn't do a female this time. We just got the guys hanging out today. But you could totally do a female. And I did a female cardinal in the other cardinal video that I have. It's more detailed. Got a male and female in that one. Put a little bit of that brighter red on the tail. And I'm going to put a little bit of that shadow color right up underneath the wing, where the wings curve down a little bit. Darker red. You can even add a little of that quinacridone magenta to make it a little bit more purpley red. There we go. Just put a few streaks in those wings like that. In fact, I need it a little bit darker. There we go. And then we'll grab the cadmium red light, a little bit of cadmium red, and we'll grab some of this unbleached titanium, make a highlight color. The cadmium red light just makes the cadmium red from turning pink. You know, we don't want him to look like he's kind of pink, so and cardinals have a lot of orangey tones in their feathers. At least the ones around here do. So we can give him a little bit of that orangey color on the wings. Grab some of that cadmium red medium and streak that back over just to blend it all in. Okay. These acrylics dry a lot darker as they dry. They change color a little bit, so you may have to go back in like I did with this one and change your values a little bit, add a little bit brighter color, a little bit more highlight color to make sure that it's bright enough. And it probably didn't cover in one coat either. So you might need a second coat of that cadmium red in some places to make sure it's nice and bright. All right, so let's grab my round brush again. We'll put in a little bit of detail. I think we're going to be right at 2 hours. I think that was a good estimate because we're approaching our 2 hour point and we haven't even done our woodpecker yet. What?
No, that was me going, yes.
Okay, so here's our little box. Remember, the beak is going to come in here like this and kind of cover part of it, but we're going to have this black sort of box shape, and then the eye is tucked up in the upper corner right here. And grab our white there, make it gray. Do a circle around the outside of the eye. Give him a little bit of a lid. And then grab some bright white just on the tip and give it a little bit of highlight. Like that. And then the beak is going to be cadmium red light. Oh, I had black in there. Get that out of there. Really, the center part of that beak should point toward the eye. So see how the middle part's there? So I need to move this up a little bit right here so that that center part is pointing right at the eye. And then this is going to kind of come in toward the face right here. This is a little bit different angle than this one. This one's looking a little bit more straightforward at us, so we're having a slightly different angle on this guy. Add some cadmium orange. That's just not want to go on. It's sticky. Adding the middle beak detail there. Now I'm going to touch it up with the black and just make sure that the edges are clean. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and give it a second coat here in a minute, but we'll go work on our woodpecker. I really think 3 cardinals would be pretty too. Could do another cardinal over here. So I'm going to grab the burnt umber in black. And we'll put in his body with this, and I'm going to just streak up from the bottom with that color. And then I'm going to grab some of that unbleached titanium, a little bit more of that brown, and we're going to go in and create some feathers in here. And he's got this sort of split that happens right here that kind of comes down. Create some detail in those feathers right there, like that. And then grab a little bit of white. Do a little touch of white right here. And right in here. A little bit of white feathers. There we go. And then let's use that white right on the neck. It's going to come up like that. the chin and above the beak. This connects around. That. Grab some more of that black color and we'll put in this side of the neck, fill that back in. We'll go ahead and go over the top of our tree a little bit right there. This is not a ton.
This isn't a good time.
No. You always the weirdest things to film.
Yeah, I'll just take a selfie.
When I did
You in
the
the
cardinal, that would have been the time to do it.
Oh, okay, can you go back and do the cardinal?
No. Wait till I put the red on the top of his head, maybe. Mark's doing Instagram videos for me, and he's filming weird stuff over here. Okay, I need more white. Put out some more white on my palette. We're almost done. Almost.
$30 minutes.
No, it won't be that long. Okay, so this little line here kind of comes around and connects up right here. And then there's another stripe that kind of comes above his head, right here. Let's go ahead and put in his beak too. So I'm going to use a little bit of that ultramarine blue mixed with my black and a little bit of white. And it connects up with this black stripe here, so it goes right down into that stripe there. Put a little bit more white in it so you can see the separation like that. A little bit of white and blue there. Just add a little highlight right on top. I just want it a little bit different than that background. It's just got to be a little bit contrast. So maybe I'll make it a little bit brighter because it's just not showing up. So I'll make a light blue with the ultramarine blue and white here. See if I can get a, there we go. Get a little bit brighter contrast there. Beak's a little bit longer than I'm making it to. And it comes up like this from the head. So
Which brush are you using right now?
this is number 1 round. I'm just trying to get my drawing right here of this beak. All right, let's do the red on the top of the head. Are you gonna film this part now, hon?
Oh, I guess so.
I'll be very spontaneous about it.
Okay, well, come on. You ready?
And action.
There we go.
You're right. That is so much more awesome.
I told you.
I think I'll post a picture of the selfie I took instead.
Okay, so there we go. Got this kind of crest thing happening there. Sorry, I apologize for our selfie or our Instagram interruption there, but
We'll see if people want me to post the
What?
little video or my selfie on Instagram.
what selfie? You were taking selfies over there?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You know how I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, and a little bit more brighter white here. There, a little bit right here. Just brightening up that stripe. And then there's a little bit of white right here. Above the eye is going to go right in here somewhere. So we'll put a stripe of it right there. Okay. And then this kind of comes down over to the beak. And this part comes up a little bit too. Okay. Got a little bit more black here, and I feel like there's a needs to be a transition right here. Little curve right here where it attaches to the head and comes back around. A little bit bigger curve there. Okay, and then let's put in the eye. The eye's going to go right here, and usually it's kind of right in the middle of the head, so it's going to be right there. If you took that triangle and kind of just sit just slightly forward from the middle, right there. We'll outline it slightly. If you roll your brush to a point, if you've got a liner brush, it'll make a finer point for you, and you can outline your bird eye with it, or you can use a liner brush if you can't get it small enough for you. And then we'll use a little bit of a bright highlight on there, like that. And then I need to work on this beak a little bit more. Right there. Black and ultramarine blue here with the white. The bright. And okay, the beak should be about the same distance as this part of the chin. So it may come out just a little bit more. And then get a little bit of white there. And give it a highlight. And go back in with the black if I need to and just separate that out a little bit. Get that middle. Okay, I think that looks good. All right. Oh, feet. Feet. So Cardinal Feets are like kind of a orangey color, so we'll make a kind of an orangey, mix a little bit of brown with it. It's a little bit deeper color. And do a couple right here. A couple little there, and then this guy's gonna also have a couple right here. Oops, why is it doing that? My paint's getting sticky. Let's not want to. Let me add a little bit of water to it. There we go. So maybe grab some brown. Just put a little bit of brown shadow on there. And then this one, we're not seeing it because it's kind of attached to the tree there, so we're not seeing his feet. They're kind of hiding under his body, the way he's angled. All right. Use my chalk and kind of get off the extra detail there. Any lines? Go ahead and zoom out there, hon, so we can see what we got. There we go. So there's our finished painting. It's pretty. Hope you try it. If you do, you can share it with me on social media, on my Facebook page, Thankful Art. There's a link down in the description for that. And or you can tag me on Instagram or Pinterest, whatever, and I should be able to see those. I kind of wish that I'd moved him a little bit farther in, but that's all right. Too late now. We could add a couple more birds in here. Could maybe add one here and one here, but
so you have an odd number of even cardinals.
That's right. 5 trees and 3 birds. I think that's good. Oh, I wanted to add snow, so I'm gonna use mine because, of course, we got a splatter.
Close.
We got a splatter. I forgot.
So close.
I'll grab some white with my fan brush. Water it down so that it's like a milk consistency. It's got to be thin enough to drop off the brush. And I'm going to hold it and just tap. There we go. Oh yeah, it needed snow. Oh, I just got it all over me. Just came back on me.
So the people in chat want to know if you're going to say the C word or not.
It is cute. It is very cute. If you get any too much on your bird where you don't want it, you can use a damp cloth. And I feel like I got a little bit too much on his beak area there, so I'm just going to dab it off with my damp cloth. There we go. All right, much better. Now we got a little snow. You can even add a little snow to some of the branches too, if you wanted to. Get real fancy. Tap in a little snow. Let's go ahead and do that since we're doing it. So just messed up my snow right there. Don't mind me. I'm just...
So all the bird do have feet, right?
They do. They have their little feet.
Okay. Let's make sure.
Yeah, they got some snow on their branches too, which we may or may not have had to do, but to add one more little detail. All right, that's it. We're gonna call it good. Thanks guys for watching today, And we will see you on Tuesday next week for another painting tutorial. Doing something, I don't know what yet, but something Christmassy.
Tanks?
No, not tanks. Not tanks. Tanks in the snow? No.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.